Hello, Collab Design for Literacy students. This is Marcos Chavez, and this is our week 8 to 9 briefing video. And it's an exciting one because the baby board books are in. You can see them behind me over here, and they have arrived and look beautiful. And they are waiting for you guys to come and check them out this coming Thursday. Here's a quick little video, give you a little more of a preview of what you got in store. But you guys did such a great job with them, and they're looking really fantastic. I know there's a few of you still and don't have them completed yet, and it might not be too late, but you're running out of time. But everyone else has got some great pieces here that we can look at in my office next week when we get together for our next week's class and have a review session here and also have a photo shoot where we'll shoot pictures of you with these books and you with some blank storybooks, as well as shoot some portraits of you and some promo pictures with dirt bags. But these books are just fantastic, and you guys should be super proud. They came out so nice. And I want you to also consider, once you see them, if you want to buy some more additional ones, you'll get one free copy. I get two. And if you want to buy more, I'm going to have a one-time order, where each of you will have a chance to put in an order. I think they're $20 each. And you can buy one, two, three. Somebody last year bought like 40 of them or something, like $1,000 worth. But yeah, so think about that, and you'll see them this coming week as we have our next class. But let's talk about our upcoming class so you guys are nice and prepared for it. We are in the middle of the project right now. We're on design development presentation. We had our class in our new classroom. It was a little lonely because like almost half of you, if not more than half of you, were not there. Many of you were sick, and a few of you were just lost. So sick and lost students. The class is in a weird place. It's actually in the same building as our own class, but you have to take the other elevator on the other side, on the Fifth Avenue side, up to the 5th floor. And then it's like the photography department or something. And then it's in the back corner there. I think some of you went to the new University Center building, and I heard there isn't even a 507 there. And I know a few of you emailed me saying you were lost. I'm so sorry that happened, and that I wasn't able to email you or text you because we were in the middle of class. But we won't be meeting there this week, so we'll be meeting instead. There'll be another geography challenge, as you need to come to Dumbo, Brooklyn, to my office here where I'm sitting right now, and we'll have a class session here. We'll talk more about that, but let's talk about this design development presentation. So basically, consider the feedback given from part 2. Those of you who missed, I can give you feedback via email, or I would prefer actually to talk to you about that. And if you missed class, please email me. Maybe I'll email you if I have time, and if we can set up a quick Zoom session, and that way we can also undo your absence if we can do that. If we don't do that, then you're going to get an absence, sick or not. There's no, that's the rule. They just say you're absent. There's no excuse, but we can undo it with the Zoom session. So do reach out. So consider the feedback you get in part 2 in our review. And it's going to be about getting the text kind of finalized here. So if there's still more editing to do, complete your text, finish writing it, edit it, get it down right, revise your storyboard if necessary. Some things that did show up as necessary, as remember your title page, your title spread. That's got to be the first thing. It's got to repeat the title, have your name on there. You can have an illustration. You can begin the story if you want to start introducing the characters or show the landscape or whatever it is. But then after that spread, that is your first spread of your story where the text begins. But you need a title spread, so make sure you have that in there. Continue to create your illustrations and layouts. This is the time now. You should have probably started experimenting, have a style down. Now I need to start implementing it into at least 4 or 5 spreads. I think I say 3 in the Canvas assignment, but I'm just kind of tricking you here to try to get a little more out of you. It'd be nice to get kind of close to 1/3 to halfway done. And while doing that, of course, we must update our presentation. And what's at the very end of that presentation? You know it already. It's a thank you spread. So make sure you do that. Here's what we're looking at in terms of how the presentation has been developing over the past few weeks. You have your cover page, it's not here, but you should have your assignment briefing, what the assignment's about, and then overview on the text, some research and design inspiration. Your design statement approach here on the last 2 rows shows your written story text, like the whole text should be there, finalized, your storyboard updated as needed, and then you begin to create experimentation on spreads with a nice thank you page at the end. And then here's kind of the expanded version of it. Like this is our handful of clay storybook where the student by week 3 was starting to develop these specific spreads, starting to make them look finished, realized, and ready for review. And that's what you should be doing now so that you don't end up running out of time. It may take some of you longer, it takes some of you shorter. If you have a design that goes quicker to do, it doesn't take a lot of time to execute, then I'm going to want you to then use that time that you're saving from not having a hard thing to create, to use it to experiment and push your ideas further and do some options that we can look at to make sure you've got the best result possible. So if you can do something quickly, then that means you don't get a faster thing. You just got to spend more time making more options. Okay. Let's talk about some of the fixed elements to make sure you're not ignoring some of the things. This is the cover and the back, and in our templates, I'm providing you guys with templates. It's on the Canvas file. It's a link. And this time, unlike the baby board book, there's actually 2 files. There's a cover and there's an inside file. And the reason for that is, as we talked about, this book is a soft cover book, but it has a hard cover. Like the cover of the book is a cover stock, and the inside of the book are text pages. They're text weight. So that means that this page that it goes over the cover here is actually a 4-page document that is that has a front and back, inside front, inside back, and that is a separate file. It's got a little bit of a spine in it. The spine is not going to have any text. It's just going to be color or extension of your illustration. And the thing to realize here is that as you see the spread here, the way the file is made, the cover's on the right, the back's on the left, and you can think about it as kind of a cohesive idea like we have in this example where the cover does continue to the back, and it's kind of cool with the serpent in the back. But the key is, and don't get thrown off by the sticker that comes with the book, it's not going to be in there. But the back does have a UPC code. The cover does have the dirt logo. Those are the 2 things that are fixed. And when you're designing it, like you might like you see on the spread, you might want it to be something that goes together, like this goes together really well. But it's going to be rare that you see it like that. So don't put too much stake in this. It's okay for it to be 2 different things like you see on the screen with the tortoise and the hare, or you can make it so it kind of works together. I think that's great, but don't make the back become more compelling than the front. Although you can argue that maybe the back is more compelling than the front here, but it's definitely with the forbidden fruit. You have the forbidden fruit, and then you kind of see the results of why it's forbidden because of what happens when you go against the things that you shouldn't go against. Okay. So, and then the inside, what you're seeing here is you're actually seeing inside cover, and then page 1 is the scribble page. So what that means is that, as we talked about, this is not really a page. This is the inside cover. So the first page on your InDesign template for your pages is going to be this scribble page, and the last page is going to be this page of more books by Dirt. So those are 2 dirt pages, and then the second and third, the third and fourth, there's 4 dirt pages in this inside is this blank piece of paper here, and then this page here that's going to have your portraits, going to have your information. We're going to shoot the portraits this coming class period, and then I just want you to think about your text here. I want you to put in where you're from. And I know we're all New Yorkers because we're all living here right now, but I kind of want everyone, I like seeing a diverse range of people, where people are from, whether it's a different state, a different city, or a different country. And within that, if there's a city, a province, like kind of build your story up. And particularly if you're doing a book that's about your culture, I think for sure it's important that even if you never lived there, maybe you can say you have ancestry from this country, your parents are from a country, so that you make a connection to the story, if it is indeed that you're doing a story from your culture. It doesn't matter. Even if you're doing a story and it's from another culture, that's okay. Just never mind that. But if you put where you're from, either way. And then also there's to be a little bit of a text here that you may have probably already written in your presentation, in your concept statement, for your design statement, about what your book is about, what the moral is, and how your design approach responded to the challenge of redesigning this old tale. So write some text that will work for that, and I can help with that as well. And again, the back is a dirt page, so nothing goes there. So your last spread in the book can be it could be just at the end of the story, or it could be like the end page, particularly if you're short on pages. Here you go, a quick way to do it. And one more thing on the back I forgot to say, is that you can also use this space to put text here. And this has a cool little text that says, a twist on the traditional Chinese folktale about honesty, benevolence, and the importance of doing what's right, the king in the seat. So I think that's a good way to tease in to the book and be able to utilize the back. And of course, remember the UPC codes there. So those are the things to consider in terms of fixed. And then also remember the bleed. And some of you had some problems with this in your baby board book, even though I warned you, but here's a big yellow page saying, remember the bleed. And what that means is that if you're doing an illustration like this, that fills the entire page with tone and color and graphic elements, you have to know that that image has to actually be bigger, like I'm going to show you on the screen. Look carefully at the edges here. Here's the guides and no guides. When you have the guides on, you can see the black line is actually where the illustration stops, but it has to be bigger than that because they chop up the book and they have to be able to have tolerance room so that if they mischop, there's not like a white line there, and you don't want that for sure. It looks really bad. So your illustration has to be bigger than what you're actually going to get. It has to have a border that's bigger. So keep that in mind. And worst case scenario, if you don't do it, I'm going to have to enlarge your pictures when we go into production. I don't want to waste my time doing that, and I don't want to make your pictures not quite look right. So remember that that's important, that you have to make your images a little bit bigger when you're designing it. And then the template, again, here's the cover template. It's a separate file. And I think it's in gray like this just to show you, obviously it should be whatever colors you have, but I want to show you that there's a white box here around the DIRT logo and where the UPC code has a white box around it as well. And then as we talked about, your pages template is going to start on page 1 with the scribble page. So scribble page is page 1, 2, 3 is the next set of DIRT pages. And then your title spread is actually pages 4 and 5. And it says here in little type, it says title spread, just to remind you, but don't leave it there. Like some students have left it there and like, no, take it out. It's just there to remind you, delete it. And remember to put a title spread here. And then your first actual page of your book is going to be after this spread, where you begin the story, the text of it at least. And then the very end, remember the last page is the more books by DIRT. So 24 pages is the minimum, which means 4 of those pages are DIRT pages, and 20 pages are pages for you, or 10 spreads. One of the spreads is a intro spread, and one can be a the-end spread as well, but 10 spreads, and you can add to it. And if you add to it, I recommend you add to it by 4s, because if you don't add to it by 4s, then you'll end up getting a white page because they need an extra page in there, and it's like kind of a missed opportunity to have a white spread at the end that has nothing on it. And that might be a time when you do the end, and you can see here that happened with this book. There's a white page here for no reason. So just keep it divisible by 4. Your pages should be able to be divided by 4. And that'll ensure that 24 pages divides by 4, 28 doesn't, but 32 does. So remember to keep that in mind, or I mean 30 does. And remember to keep that in mind as you, no, 28 divides by 4, 30 doesn't, but 32 does. And so keep adding by 4s. But stick to 24. It's a good size. But if you had to do more, then add 4 more pages. Okay, so we have this assignment in more detail on Canvas. There's the template, the InDesign templates there. Download that. There's also a link to the Google Drive that has archives of some of these past books, some of the PDFs, that you can see them more in detail if you want to see them. And then the assignment briefing, there's a link to the assignment briefing. The assignment Google Drive link, part 3, where you're going to upload that by next week. And since we're having our field trip here to the class, make sure you have that up there so it's uploaded before you get here. And then the class resources in our class folder, there's a folder called class resources, and in there there's a children's storybook archive. And there, like I talked about, there's a set of PDFs of past books if you want to take a look and check out what they did. And then this is just an example of a full book here, and I'll just quickly page through it, but this is the Magic Lamp. And many of you are obviously doing stories from folk tales that are written already, but you're adapting them, or you're creating adaptations of them. And as we talked with a few students, you don't have to stick to the title, you don't have to stick to the characters. You can broaden out at different levels. You can keep it traditional, you can keep everything the same. You can just change the language a little bit, or you can change the name, upgrade the name, maybe change the characters, keep the spirit of the moral, and you can modernize it. In this book, The Magic Lamp does that. Whoops, I guess I can't page through it, but it does that by taking the story of Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, like you probably know from the Disney movie, and you see the lamp in his hand, but it makes it seem like it's that story, and it is that story, but it's been updated where it's called the Magic Lamp. It's a little bit different of a name. The character's name is Al, not Aladdin. Same thing, I guess. But Al is a modern day kid, like you can see here. He's a modern day kid, and he's like a young middle schooler, late elementary schooler kind of kid, and he's got a good family. He's got a dad who really pays attention to him, but he's shy and he's uncertain and he's anxious, and he has this around his neck is this scarf, but it's like a security blanket that he kind of uses because he's afraid. And it shows him kind of getting bullied at school, and then one day he falls into some just hole and he lands in this like crystally cave, kind of like the story, and there he finds this magic lamp, and when he rubs this magic lamp, instead of a genie coming out, instead it just becomes sort of this metaphor for the voice in your head or the voice in your heart and your consciousness or your communication to like a greater supernatural power, or however you want to interpret it. But he begins to learn more about himself and how he can look to something greater than him to be empowered to overcome fear. And with this lamp, he little by little goes throughout his day. He gets out of the cave, no big deal. But then he faces the bully, or he faces the bully bullying another kid. And little by little, his lamp starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and his confidence gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's kind of done in an everyday modern way, in a simple illustration style. And in the end, he becomes a confident kid, and the lamp kind of just goes away. But he has his voice in his head now, and he has a relationship with somebody up above and beyond him to help him live life in a better way. And so that's an example of how you can make an adaptation to a story that you've heard before. All right, so field trip this Thursday at TOTA, my design office. Now it's a little office. It's like I used to have a big office, and little by little, a pandemic came, and I just said, okay, I'm scaling it down. Everybody works remote, and it's great, but it's kind of tight. So I have right next door here. There's a conference room where we're going to set up for the photo shoot, here's a picture of the photo shoot. Meanwhile, we're going to have review sessions going on in this room. Demi's going to be over. I think I'm going to be part of this. I might be over here shooting. We don't have a photographer like usual, but Hung Tao and Juliana are going to help shoot the pictures. I might do it. Depends how it goes, but I'll be go back and forth. But the idea here is you're going to come here, and you're going to both shoot pictures, and you're going to present your storybook assignment to Demi mostly, maybe to me. Maybe I'll be back and forth. And I'm gonna break the class up in a couple or 2-3 waves. Like some people come earlier, some people come a little later, so that we don't have too many people at once. And part of it is that you'll be presenting, you'll be shooting, but you'll also be observing other people presenting, and you'll also be at the photo shoot clowning around, getting people to look and act as cool and wacky as possible. So we get great shots, and we have a lot of interactions. But basically, the idea of the result for the photo shoot here is we're trying to accomplish a couple of things you can see here in these different picture examples from past classes. On the left side, top left side, you can see we're just going to shoot a portrait. So that portrait of you, that's going to be in the book. That's going to be the kind of the real reason, the first reason. But then we also want to shoot pictures of you with your 2 books. And one of them is your baby board book, which you see down here, that we'll have available for you. And you can shoot them right like you see them. But the storybooks, you aren't done with those yet. But I will have blank books that are printed, that are blank, that you can hold. Same with the baby board books. For the few of you who haven't finished those yet, you can shoot a blank book. And then, as you can see here, you'll end up photoshopping them later to end up with a result of looking like you're holding the book. And then in addition to that shot, I also want to get a few kind of just cool promo shots that we can use in the future for social media. And you with a dirt bag, or you just kind of being like wacky and funny. But I just want to get like a good, fun photo shoot for you. And again, I'm a big believer in documentation. So not only documenting your work, but documenting you with your work. And so I think it'll be cool to have this. So that'll be the goal. And we'll be for sure having a great class. I'm going to send everybody instructions on how to get here. If anybody has any worry and wants to make sure they're here early, or whatever, just reach out to me if you're concerned about it. I can help you get here. It's not hard to get here. It's a great neighborhood, safe, everything like that. So it's just the F train to York Street, the first stop in Brooklyn, and then it's down the hill 3 blocks, and it's a big building. And there's going to be they have like a new security system, so I'm going to be emailing everybody or texting or emailing a pass that will work with your phone that will get you into they have like little gates that open automatically. And I might have somebody down there to make sure everybody gets in okay. All right. So that's it for today. Again, our books are here. You can see them back there. They're waiting for you. And in fact, let me stop sharing here so you can see them a little bit bigger. But there they are. They're looking fantastic. They're here for you. And for the photo shoot, if you can make sure, like, for example, like if you wear clothes, like try to keep it plain. And if you want to have graphics, like maybe keep it like a little bit more subtle like this is, because you don't want the images to have like things that kind of are distracting or big and bold. So try to keep your look nice and simple for the photo shoot. All right. See you guys later and look forward to it to our next class here at my office.